Welcome to Central News, I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, Hamilton City will be celebrating Children's Day a week early with a carnival on Saturday the 23rd of February in Garden Place. The carnival is part of Summer in Garden Place and the day will include live entertainment, a skate competition, a special under fives play area and a discovery trail involving the Waikato Museum. Louise Cole of the Hamilton Children and Families Trust says the day will be all about the theme of this year, Children as Our Treasure.
If it rains on the day, which it won't, check out www.summerandgardenplace.co.nz. We'll have information on there, but at the very least there'll be activities in the library and the museum.
Scientists are saying the Earth is overdue for a solar superstorm that could knock out electronics, power grids and communication satellites. Solar superstorms are estimated to occur once every 100 to 200 years, with the last one hitting Earth in 1859. Scientists say it is inevitable a major solar flare will hit Earth sometime in the near future, but it is impossible to predict more than about 30 minutes before it actually happens. A report into extreme space weather by a group of experts at the Royal Academy of Engineering in London points out that modern society's reliance on electronics make us far more vulnerable than in the past. A visiting German marine biologist is delivering a free lecture in Tauranga on how climate change is affecting seaweeds. Professor Kai Bischoff will discuss the multiple and vital ecological functions performed by seaweeds in coastal ecosystems while showing how some species, such as sea lettuce, may become a nuisance once released from their controlling factors. The lecture will also explore how seaweeds along New Zealand's coastline are coping with habitat changes. Kai will talk about the biology and ecology of giant kelp, which forms dense underwater forests along the New Zealand coastline, and its associated communities. The free lecture will be held from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. on Monday, February the 18th at the Tauranga Yacht and Power Boat Club, Sulphur Point. Now for our region's weather, Hamilton, your Wednesday is looking a bit wet, rain developing and a southwest change. Your expected high is 24 and an overnight low of 11. Tauranga, fine in the morning with showers in the afternoon and a westerly. Your expected high is 25 and an overnight low of 14. Just ahead, we meet Hamilton Zoo's newest edition. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. What's black and white and has stripes all over? The new addition at the Hamilton Zoo. Louise van der Sand tells us more.
I'm a mammal keeper here at Hamilton Zoo, so basically we are assigned a group of animals in the morning and throughout the day it's basically just their care, so it's cleaning, health checks, feeding, enrichment and training. Training is for, say we've got a transfer coming up, we want to crate train the animal, so we have certain steps that we have to go through in training, so that's a really interesting part. But the list of jobs are endless really. We do a lot of admin things as well, like coordinate breeding programs and conservation work and that type of thing, so all sorts. Assisting with the vet as well, it's also a cool part of the job.
So tell us about your new addition to the zoo.
Our new addition is our zebra foal, our little colt. So he's the fourth foal for his mum Marbles, so she's an old hand. And yeah, he's super cute. He's a real little goer. He's about 2.5 weeks old now and going strong.
So has he been named yet?
Kwasi.
So how do we get the name?
He was named by the keeper that found him in the morning. Basically, they're either named by the keeper that finds him or the head of the run. So this particular run is my run, but the girl that found him was one of our casual workers, and it's always quite cool to be able to name an animal, so we said to her, go for it. They're also sometimes named by public competition, but this particular case he's already been named. So yeah, so she chose Kwasi, which means born on a Sunday. He was born either late Sunday night or early Monday morning, so either, but it sounds cute.
So what is the procedure for looking after a new colt?
We're very hands-off, so we leave it a lot to the mother. She's doing very well, she's very experienced, he's doing well. But the main and most important thing is when we get here in the morning and we find the foal, making sure that he's up and walking. Obviously, these being essentially wild animals, being up and moving is really important for them. And the other thing is that he's drinking. It's really essential that he gets his mother's colostrum in the early hours after birth. Very essential. So we need to know that he is up and moving fine, he's a part of the herd, not being rejected by his mother or the others, and that he's drinking. And the next step is probably making sure he's passing things through if he is eating. That's the most important things to keep an eye on, and then we just leave it to his mum.
What happens if he is rejected by the herd?
If it's early enough, we'd look at hand raising him, which is not ideal because they tend to not fit into herds quite so well if they're hand risen animals. Sometimes in a herd situation it can be handy because they calm the rest of the herd down around keepers and people because they're so comfortable. But if he is old enough to look after himself, if he can eat solids when he's rejected, then we will look at sending him to another establishment. If he doesn't fit in with our herd, he's likely to fit in with another one, so he'll go somewhere else.
So how much time actually goes into ensuring that he is meeting all those milestones?
A lot of observation, basically. We can't get hands-on so much with these guys. So just observing that he is growing, that he's healthy, that he's moving around, is accepted by the herd, and they're pretty low maintenance animals. They know how to look after themselves in the wild, so in captivity it's particularly easy for them. So not a lot really.
Now the summer holiday has just ended. What were some of the more popular animals with the kids?
The zebra foal was very popular in the last few weeks when he was around. The lemurs are a very popular addition as well. And our baby rhino, she's coming up to a year old, but she's still really popular. So they're probably the main ones, I would say.
The cute ones.
Yeah, the babies are always popular, yeah.
What is the best time of day, in your opinion, to visit the zoo?
I would say the morning, before midday. When it gets a little bit hotter around midday and a little bit later, the animals are less active. Yeah, dare not to do much, and sometimes if they're hiding, they won't come out of hiding. So the morning is when they're more active.
So what else has been happening around the zoo?
We've had piglets, kuni piglets. 2 of them have had to be hand-fed, which has been a wee bit of a mission. They weren't quite getting enough milk. So kuni piglets. What else have we had happening? Ooh, a lot of babies, baby lemurs, that type of thing. We also have had one of our keepers has written a book on Charlie the Kia, Charlie the Cheeky Kia, I think it's called. So that's been quite popular. People have been coming in to meet Charlie because they've seen the book. Yeah, things like that.
Is there anything else exciting happening in 2013?
We have Conservation Week in March, but there's also a lot of babies on the way, as usual. We have a pregnant rhino, so she'll be calving at some point. Yeah, basically that's it at the moment.
So tell us about the Conservation Week.
Conservation Week is something we run in conjunction with the Department of Conservation, and it is basically a week that we focus on conservation, and our particular focus this year is introduced predators and pests and how they affect our native fauna. So that is running from, I think, the 4th to the 10th of March, and we have, throughout the week, we're focusing on school groups and making them aware, especially the younger ones, making them aware of what the pests and predators do, the introduced ones, to our native fauna, and the threat that they are, and things that we can do as individuals to reduce the effect that they have. And I think in the weekend we have basically focus for just the general public, and so we'll be letting them know about what pests and predators do and that type of thing, and there'll be static displays and stage displays, and also displays of giant weta and some of our natives that we have here will be focused on.
Visit the Hamilton Zoo's website for ticket and opening hours information, hamiltonzoo.co.nz, and I must say he was adorable. Just ahead we learn what really may be in our deep fried chips. Welcome back. Matamata Township is getting a makeover, the first of the kind in the country. The Chip Group is coming to town. Glenda, what is the Chip Group?
Well, the Chip Group is a group of companies who have got a vested interest in the deep fried chip industry. So it's potato growers, potato chip manufacturers, it's oil manufacturers, we've got equipment suppliers, but we've also got support from Ministry of Health and Heart Foundation.
And why did you guys start the Chip Group?
Well, we came together probably about 15 years ago, and it was because New Zealanders are such big deep fried chip consumers, and we knew that we could do something quite easily to improve the standard, because like when a potato leaves the paddock, it's 0.1% fat. By the time it leaves the processors, it's between 3 and 5% fat. But by the time it gets in your fish and chip wrapper, it could be anything from 7 right through to 22. So at the operator is where the fat is added, and if they cook to industry standards, we can minimise that fat added, which is an absolute win for the consumer.
Because what are the industry standards?
Well, we've got 9 modules, and about how chip size, the oil management,
deep drainage, so shape, bang and hang is one of our messages that we use. Also, salt is a big one, so giving customers the option to add salt or using little salt sachets, so their portion sizes. Yeah.
So there are 9 industry standards, but if the industry followed, we would lower the fat content significantly, enough to make a population difference, actually.
So what are you planning on doing with Matamata?
Well, Matamata is an interesting town for us because for whatever reason, and we're not sure the reason, we've never actually trained any of the operators in Matamata before. So when you toddle down the main street of Matamata, there's 20 outlets where you can buy deep fried chips. And so we thought, well, that'd be quite a neat challenge. We'll come here, we'll collect some samples, and then we'll train the operators and see what the difference we can make.
So why Matamata? Why does it have 20 chip operators?
I think it's pretty typical of most rural New Zealand towns. We're a country that loves potato chips.
And it's such a stop-off town, like you stop at Matamata and go to the toilet and you get some food to take away on your journey. So toilets and takeaways and chips just seem to fit perfectly in there.
And take a photo outside the Hobbit.
Yes.
So who is Michael Hong and what has he done?
Michael is the current Best Chip competition winner. So he owns a store called Opie's Takeaways in Rotorua, and he is basically the chip champion. So he's the epitome of what we want all chip owners in New Zealand to be like. And he's migrated to New Zealand and started his business up probably about 10 years ago as well. And since joining the Chip Group and entering our competition, his business has boomed. So we're using him to inspire other operators to improve their business and basically improve the nutritional quality of chips. And he's a great spokesperson and he's very passionate, and we're really excited to have him on board with us.
Can you taste the difference?
Definitely. Yeah. Especially when you taste his.
But you know, a chip cooked to our industry standards tastes better. But we know, you know, when you have fish and chips sometimes and they're greasy, that's probably because they're not cooked at the right temperature for the right time and clean oil. So we know if they're cooked at the right temperature, time and clean oil, the customers will like them, and we've done tests through the years to check and consume. We definitely like them if they're cooked properly.
Because I mean, sometimes you get those very soggy, white-looking chips, and then sometimes you get the ones that are a bit crisper and they're a bit almost not drier, but they're not.
We like to say they should be crispy on the outside and fluffy and dry on the inside. That's yes. What we're aiming for. and we know that's what New Zealanders love. We all love them when they're cooked properly.
Exactly, yeah. So who is working with the Chip Group?
In town here,
we've got the Matamata Business Association. They're on board with us. Also, the Poland Hospital is supporting. We've got Sports Waikato behind us. Support from the Heart Foundation, the Heart Health volunteer that's here. And yeah, everybody's sort of really excited to see Matamata improve their standard of chips.
Yeah, and what are you going to do with the sampling? Because you guys have taken some samples. So what have you done with that?
Well, we send them off to the labs to find out how much fat's in them, to get them analysed.
And then because you're going to sample them afterwards, aren't you?
Yes, so after we've done the training, we're going to give them a bit of time to sort of settle in and make some changes, and then we'll get them to send us in their best chips. and we'll analyse them, and hopefully we expect to see a significant reduction in fat.
It's pretty normal to see a 20% drop just straight away. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So what are you going to do with the at the Memorial Hall on the 25th, Monday the 25th? You're going to have a bit of a seminar.
Yeah, that's where we run our training seminar, which is based on the modules which are available on our CHIP group website. So we run through a series of 3 to 8 minute videos, and then there's a series of questions that the operators answer. We run through those, and at the end of the training they all receive a certificate, and that's what they present up in their stores so that the public can come in and visibly see the evidence that they've done the training, and they know that they're doing their best to deep fry healthier chips.
And it's great too because Michael's interactive, you know, and if they've got questions, and it's probably for a lot of operators in the past, Kate's run a lot of these seminars now, you find that it's probably the first time they've sat around with other operators and been able to discuss, you know, what do you do with, you know, if the VAT doesn't work properly, or how do you get the temperature calibrated properly? So it's quite a learning. It's learning for them, and it's great. It's really good, empowering.
Yeah, and it's a great social activity because a lot of them work very hard and very long hours, and they've come from overseas, so it's really nice for them to actually feel like they're being a part of something, and that's what we're really looking forward to having in Matamata.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to tasting the changes. Good luck with Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Tau Makeover begins at 9:30 on Monday 25th of February at the Matamata Memorial Hall. Coming up, Bikeways Month. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. It's time to wipe the cobwebs off your old bike and take her out for a spin. Why not get the whole family involved to enjoy the many cycle paths our regions have to offer? Hamilton City Council discuss Bikeways Month.
So Bikeways Month is part of a national program of activities. It's aimed at getting people to remember that biking is not only a form of transport, but it's also a fun activity, something you can do with the whole family, and it's a good way to save a few dollars on your fuel bill as well.
Go By Bike Day is tomorrow. What is that all about?
Well, it's really a whole month, but one day is a focus for saying this is the beginning of a new year. How about dusting off that bike that's in your shed, hopping on it and riding to work?
Why do you think it's so important to get businesses involved with that Go By Bike Day and Bikeways Month in February?
Well, a lot of people's journeys are to and from work, and if businesses get involved, it can help out their staff. So we know that if people are healthier, they take less sick days, they don't have as much trouble parking, and they arrive at work refreshed and ready for their day.
What are the benefits of riding your bike to work?
Well, I think one of the main benefits is that just as part of your everyday getting to and from work, you're building in some healthy exercise, so you don't have to do it specially after work.
So what do the statistics reveal about workers who do bike to work?
I think the stats are very clear. There's been many, many studies which have shown the health benefits, so I don't think there's any argument at all about getting exercise on a regular basis is good for your general health and your general well-being. So if you feel better and you're more positive, you're probably a better worker too.
So what are some tips to ensuring that your bike is road safety worthy?
Well, most importantly, make sure that you can stop. So check your brakes and make sure that they're in good working condition, particularly if your bike hasn't been used for a while. The other thing which will really make a huge difference to your biking experience is your tyre pressure. Flat tyres can really make it hard to go a short distance, so check your tyre pressure. It's written on the side of your tyre, and just make sure they're inflated to that amount.
And of course always wear a lid.
Yeah, always. So helmets, just in case something goes wrong. Great idea.
And why should the whole family be getting involved?
I think it's a fun thing to do for a family. It's relatively cheap and you can do it from home, so you don't have to go to somewhere special. And for parents, they can guide the younger children in the family to bike safely and have a good time in the process.
Why do you think it is that bike riding has become so much more popular over the last few years?
A lot of it's going to come down to fuel price. So I certainly remember fuel being 75 cents a litre, and now we're at $2 plus a litre. So economic imperative for a lot of people, but also people are starting to go to the doctor and the doctor's saying, look, you need to get some more exercise. It's a way that people can fit a bit of exercise into their day. That time would otherwise be spent sitting in a car. But also electric bikes are now pretty popular as well. So they help people who have issues like I don't want to be sweaty going to work. You can jump on a bike and it's all the fun without any of the effort.
I suppose that is one thing, is how do we stop ourselves from turning up to work all sweaty?
Try an electric bicycle, but a lot of your workplaces will have showers and facilities where you can have a change of clothes so that you're not imposing upon your workmates' goodwill.
How can those who cycle to work actually stay safe on the road?
Probably the biggest thing you can do is communication with other road users. So giving people plenty of warning what you're going to do, so clear hand signals with plenty of time, and motorists are really happy to be accommodating and they will look out for you. But also take a bit of personal responsibility for your own safety. Make sure you're wearing a helmet. High visibility vest is a good idea, and just make sure that you have a good look before you start weaving out into traffic.
So what are some other events that are happening in our region?
So coming up for Bikewise Month, there are a couple of events on in Hamilton City. So we're repeating our very successful community days which we had last year. So our first community day is on Sunday, and that's on the Sunday the 7th and Sunday the 10th. That's going to be on down at Steel Park in Hamilton East from 1 till 3. And also we'll repeat the day on the 25th of February, which is a Monday evening from 4 till 7. At both of the events you'll be able to come down, get some cycle training if you're a new or returning cycle rider. There'll be an obstacle course for the kids to go over, bouncy castles, sausage sizzle, and we'll be giving away a couple of bikes as well. So we encourage everyone to come on down.
And if we wanted to know more information about Bikewise Month, where should we go?
Particularly if you're living outside Hamilton, you might want to hop on the internet and Google Bikewise New Zealand, and it'll tell you what else is happening. I urge you to do it.
Visit bikewise.co.nz to find out all about all the fun events happening around our regions. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.